What's up, Brew Crew? It's Kent from kraftbrewmorphology coming to you today to tell you about some genes in the spider complex and what we know about them and how we should move forward with breeding them. Before we get into that, remember to always support USARK. They fight for our rights as animal keepers. And also, before I get into that, I'd like to do some sticker shout-outs. I think this may be a two-part video, so I will only do one in this one, and then you'll have to see the other one next week. So, the sticker shout out for this week is from Celtic Balls, Angie and Jeff. Thank you so much for sending these awesome stickers. And a magnet. Here, let's see if I got everything. There we go. You can check them out. Their social media links will be in the description of the video below. Like I said, this is probably going to be a two-part video because there's a lot of genes in this complex and a lot of issues and things I'd like to address moving forward with it, and let's see if we can grow as a community, maybe go back to some of these older genetics that have been found out to be in the spider complex, and take a positive approach into keeping them in our collection and breeding them in the future. So first, I'm going to ramble off the known issues that we have, right? So we know with spider complex, with spider itself, there's a wobble, right? Same with Woma, hidden gene Woma, champagne, super stable, and Powerball. Powerball is a super spot nose, to my knowledge. So all of those genes, we've known that they can potentially have a wobble. Now, that does not preclude you from breeding them. Just don't breed any of them to each other, right? That's bad. So we'll get into that later in the video of which spider complex genes you don't want to breed together, because unfortunately some people in this industry have learned the hard way that it doesn't work. So here are the combinations that we know to be lethal, right? So you should never ever pair these two snakes together. Spider on one side, spider on the other side is not going to work. Champagne and champagne is not going to work. Champagne and spider are also lethal. So never ever pair that combination of genetics together. Spider, spider, champagne, champagne, or spider, champagne. That's bad. Don't do that. It won't work out well for you. However, recently a friend of mine, Phil at Fingersnakes, did produce a super hidden gene Woma. It is still alive as of when I'm filming this video. However, it has a severe wobble, and it hasn't eaten yet. But it exists currently. It's not supposed to have made it this far, so it's kind of surprising that it has. If you watch my video with Jeremy Turgeon for Brassman a couple weeks ago on Sunday Snake Chat, he goes into more detail about that specific pairing. It's really cool that it exists right now, but we'll see. If it eats, if it starts to thrive, that would be amazing. It would show something with. Now I'm saying this anecdotally with this complex that maybe we bred a couple lines really heavily, and maybe that's what's causing this wobble. Since a lot of the things, the genes in the complex I'm talking about right now are older. Now, again, let me preface this: I'm not a biologist. I'm not a geneticist. So, when we line breed dogs and, we keep that, American Kennel Club line going, there could be a lot of issues that happen there. So I'm wondering if this is the same thing within the spider complex. The spider gene was extremely popular years ago. So I'm just curious to see, did we overbreed a couple lines and then genetic issues have developed? I don't know. I'm not a geneticist, but it's something that I'd like to see, because the spider gene on its own, any of these genes on their own, really have some power. Champagne disrupts pattern. Spider is beautiful, but again, they both come with these potential wobbles. So there is one pairing that comes to mind right now, and it's merely anecdotal. We don't really know what it does, what effect it has, but it's a blackhead to a spider. The offspring of that pairing seem to mask the wobble of the spider. Now, what we don't know, and we can't really prove, if it eliminates it, because oftentimes if you pair that blackhead spider to something else, any spider offspring may have that wobble. But that's just interesting to see that there are certain genes within the spider complex that can mask the wobble. I don't know if it eliminates it. Like I said, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a biologist, I'm not a geneticist. These are just things I'm observing based on research that I'm doing on the internet. And we really can't believe everything we see on the internet. But maybe you should listen to this video as I try to dispel some of these myths. A lot of it's fact. I mean, don't really breed these animals together. But I want to dispel, the rumors that you never want these animals in your collection because they're 100% bad. Every spider has a wobble. That's not true. So I want to show next a couple animals in my collection that do have wobbles and are in the spider complex. So this one is probably going to tag me. As you see, he's quite flopping around trying to find his equal ground, trying to find that surface. So he does have a wobble. This is a champagne pastel, possible het lavender albino. And you can see he's doing a little corkscrewing. The light's not really showing his color, but he did sire a clutch of eggs with my normal possible het pied. So, and they were about 30 days away from them pipping and me cutting them, but they are all still viable. So we'll see whether or not he passes on this wobble. If it's severe, that's an issue for me. But if it's something manageable and they're eating, shedding, every aspect of their life is somewhat normal, aside from the fact that they can't find their equilibrium and they're just constantly searching for, solid ground, that's not that big of a deal. If their quality of life is good, then that's fine. And I'll make sure that everything eats, if it does have the champagne gene in it. So, if there's, a severe wobble or a severe kink, if there's a severe kink, it might not survive. That's an issue that we have on all ball pythons, or, almost any animal that we breed can have some sort of issue, in utero or in the egg, which could prevent it from thriving. So I really am more concerned about, a champagne coming through in that clutch with a severe wobble. That's something I will manage on my own, and if I feel that if that animal can survive with the proper care, I may sell it as a pet. And here's the next snake I have in my collection. This is a bumblebee spark. So the genetics here are pastel, spider, and spark, which is in the yellow belly complex. And if she comes out, you can see she's corkscrewing. She's upside down right now. She does have a noticeable wobble. However, does not prevent her from eating, and it did not prevent her from sitting on a nice collection of eggs this past May, when she was at Chris from being at Fertilia. So, I don't want to scare anybody off of the spider complex. This snake obviously is, has bred, has, thrived, but does have the wobble. So, where do we see ourselves going? Obviously, as breeders, we want to see, awesome, genetics like this. Look at the pattern on her. So we want to be able to prevent, more, snakes with a massive wobble getting out in the market and selling them irresponsibly. We should do our due diligence as breeders to make sure that when we sell you a snake, it is, happy, healthy, and thriving. And able to thrive under your care. We don't want to sell you something that's got an extreme wobble, and you need to know what you're doing to care for that snake. So I know I've been rambling a lot about these wobbles, but like the two snakes I've shown you, they eat, they've bred, and they've produced offspring. Well, at least this one has. The champagne pastel has sired a clutch that's still going good in my incubator. So, like I said, this is probably going to be a 2 to 3 part video about some of these genetics that we may not want to breed, but I don't want to scare you off of having the genes in your collection, so long as you're not breeding them to each other. And there's a lot of new genes in the spider complex that have been discovered that there are no issues with. So I think in the next video, that's what I'm going to talk about. Those genes. We have Justin Kabelka made the Batman, which has a spot nose in it, and we have no problem breeding Batman to Batman, right? That's a clown spot nose leopard. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but we have no problem, having the possibility of making a super spot nose out of that, just because we're getting, more Batmans. So I just want to, address the issue, mainly about spider. I mean, they make beautiful animals. I just think that, in my opinion, like I said, I just have a background in, nonprofit stuff and, political science, and not, actual hard science. But, I think maybe we just overbred this thing and we got scared off of it. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe we should never ever have animals like this with the spider gene or spider gene complex in our collection. Let me know. With all that being said, if you like kind of what spider does, there's a similar gene that you can invest in that it's been around for a while. It gives a similar pattern, not quite the same. You don't have like the pixelation at the bottom, and I don't have the best example of it because I have it, with Ultramel. But it is pinstripe. So if you like the reduced patterns on a snake, kind of like what spider does, you can invest in pinstripe, and there's no known genetic issues with that snake. So here's what that looks like. An Ultramel pinstripe. And you can see, it doesn't really have the pixelation on the side that you would see in a spider complex, or in spider. But it does have a reduced pattern, as you can see. So maybe this is a snake for you, the pinstripe. I would love it if you got into Ultramel as well, because you know what I say, Ultramel everything. But as you can see, this snake has no wobble or anything, right? I'm just happy to be here, and I bopped his head, but that's fine. So we're going to go ahead and put him back, and we're going to finish the video. Honestly, I'm interested to see the response to this video, because I know we have a lot of hate about spider in particular, and some of the other genes in the complex. So I really want to see what the feedback is from the community about this video, and maybe it'll determine whether or not I do the second part or post the second part of this video, next Tuesday, talking about the newer genes we discovered to be in the spider complex. Alright, that's it for me today. Remember to like, share, subscribe, comment, smash that notification bell, and let me know what you think. I'm really curious. I know this is a touchy subject regarding spider, so I just want to know what y'all think about, what I've said, maybe how we can move forward with this gene, with the genes in the complex. Like I said earlier, we'll see, based on the response to this video, whether or not I put out a second video talking about the newer genes that were discovered to be allelic with spider in that complex. Like I said, remember, like, share, subscribe, smash that notification bell. Check out my new videos every Tuesday at 6 o'clock, and check out Sunday Snake Chat every Sunday, either at 6:30 or 6, depending on who the guest is. Sometimes when they're on the East Coast, they're a little bit earlier at 6. So we'll see you there.